Alright guys, so we've got VortiX on his Mongols in the blue trunks in game 2 here, up against HuT in the red trunks on the Abbasid dynasty. We're on Frisian marshes, a new custom map in the tournament pool, and we're on the Red Bull Wololo Legacy tournament. It's the July qualifier weekly 3, and thank you all for tuning in. HuT finding quite a few sheep already. So is VortiX. Not really any sheep over here. Oh, there's some over in the corner for VortiX he could find. So both our players getting quite a few sheep. VortiX is eventually going to have to come back. HuT, not so much, he's already on the berries. That's Abbasid. These guys all for VortiX going to get more and more noticeable. It's a bit of a shame they were all crammed right over in the corner, so he missed them. Doesn't feel a map actually. It does. So it would have been tucked away right in the corner when he came past. I wonder if HuT will be able to find them and pinch them off him. Most of the other sheep have already been found, but there's one or two stragglers around. So a Mongol player going for a tower rush with spears. You can also go for it with horsemen, but it is a little bit slower. You do have to gather slightly more to produce the horsemen. And so House of Wisdom finishing up for HuT. He's going to look at queuing Economic Wing pretty much straight away. He's going to start gathering quite a bit of wood. So he's seen the villager come in for VortiX. Going to persist, because for now there's only scouts to defend. So HuT could be looking to try and get a quick tower up behind this himself. Just going to have to be a bit careful with the spear harass. This tower's in a nice spot because it's actually going to force HuT off the berries as well. At least this clump of them here. So this is going pretty well. The VortiX is going to force HuT to go on his sheep a little bit quicker than he'd like, although he's got a really healthy count of them. Spear's going to prove to be ever the pest here. So the age up for HuT about 3/4 finished now. The tower rush sort of succeeded and fulfilled its purpose. Both these sets of resources being denied, and it's really easy for VortiX to now try and tower up the stone and prevent a quick second town centre. Force HuT to have to play off a wood food army and really drag things out. So HuT has to deal with VortiX trying to scout him out now and seeing that most of the gatherers are on the wood. And the first production facility for HuT's going to be the range. So VortiX Don't have a good tell of what and when. For now, just trying to take out this mining camp, because if you can get it to start burning up, actually get a nice boost to his resources out of it. There we go. 25 food and gold for him. That's what he needs to get his age up started with his deer stones. Just going to put up here just to help benefit his infantry a little bit more. So Archer's in to defend now for HuT, and he's getting fresh food stuff, so he'll have cheaper villager production. And it looks like he still wants to try and get this second town centre now. Because Archers v Spears is great comp. He's really only got to worry about getting too close to the tower. So VortiX's age up, coming in hot, about 2/3 done. Closing fast because he does have 6 villages on it, and he's just trying to see if he can get this mill down a little bit, see if he can get that burning income. The edge up finishes. Everything's going to be a little bit faster now when in range of either the deer stones or towers for the Mongol player. So HuT pulling everything up to try and get this tower, and they can possibly try and pick the Khan off too if he's lucky, but VortiX, good micro here, not looking to throw it away. Tower. Aris is going to finish up here for VortiX, but it's only going to get minimal. Oh, it's not even going to get an attack off there. So that's a little nice for HuT. He's basically forced VortiX to waste that arrow, since I don't think VortiX cancelled it in time. Now HuT. Archer's chasing spears, but there is double horseman production on the way here for VortiX. Well, HuT isn't going to look at adding spears until after he's actually gotten this town centre, I think. He's got so many stone villages at the moment. Perhaps too many, because he's going to have to run some of these back to the wood now. Yeah, he's going to be... Oh, here we go. He's got a second town centre. Still getting a lot of stone through all this, though. And so gathering all the stone rather than being on the wood now, it's really delaying his transition to racks of his own, which he's going to need, because the horsemen are really going to be able to punish his archers if he gets caught with those out in the field. And they're alone trying to track down the spears. So horsemen coming in, try and thin out the archer count. Try and deny a bit more gathering, and if they can, thin out the villager count. They're very micro-intensive, our players. Top-notch control. Some of the best players in the game facing off here. I do like this, even though he probably needs to get a mill over here, or should have killed the deer a little bit closer while the town centre was building. This is a great spot for HuT because he's got all this food and wood under his control. And he's camping that relic. Oh, we've got Step Redoubt going up here for VortiX. Continuing to try and gather stone through this. Does he want to go 3 TC? And he's just short of 300 stone as well. So So he probably needs to get 15 stone as quick as he can right now. So we got barracks range production now. VortiX finally adding some spears. I mean, sorry, HuT finally adding some spears, but VortiX going to castle. Moving the step redoubt onto the gold, and he'll move the Gur off. Maximize his gathering, I'm sure. VortiX really applying the pressure to HuT, who's gone 3 TC in the midst of this. So he'll have triple villager production advantage over the Mongol player, but that step redoubt undoes a bit of that damage because it is a 50% drop-off boost to all the gold gatherers. And it does still act as a regular Gur. So VortiX just keeping an eye on HuT's base with a couple of spears. HuT looking to add Camel Archer. Disease will intimidate the horseman into dealing 20% less damage. Well, another range being added. Getting some more Camel Archers out. They hit a bit harder and are a bit tankier than the regular archers, but they are quite a bit more expensive. Same cost as knights. Well, VortiX already going to start relic acquisition. It's slowly trying to work away at it with the scout. HuT having to defend against some more raiding. We've got some man-at-arms thrown in here for VortiX. These guys quite a bit tankier, better under tower fire than the villagers. Going to be a good counter to all these early game wood food units that HuT's fielding. He's going to have to look at trying to get to Castle Age behind this and actually fielding something that can deal with a good number of man-at-arms, whether it be mangonels or knights or crossbowmen. So right now, VortiX has a little bit of mobility and a little bit of armor over his opponent. But HuT does still have 3 town center production, but probably needs to look at rallying the vills being produced out of it to this far side than garrisoning them straight away. Another burning building, a bit more gold there to VortiX. I wonder if he's going to get away with this. It doesn't. Oh, HuT is paying attention. So VortiX unsuccessful with the convert attempt there. HuT defending his third town center as best he can, but it's getting quite low. Just getting the last couple of vills he can out of it, it seems, but just letting it go. Well, he's transitioning to blacksmith tech. He's gone up to 3 ranges now. And VortiX adding lancers too. It's really tough, all these gold food units against wood food units. VortiX, even with the camel archers, they don't really do a huge amount against the man-at-arms. He's got to focus down all the other units first, then try and pick them off, or just minimizing what he loses to them. And VortiX is just compositionally, I think, in a really nice spot right now. And this is snatching up more and more relics. VortiX having added a second town center and a market now. He's not worrying about trading with it yet, but he can just equalize his resources if needed. Sacred site under control there by VortiX now too. moving out with his camel archers. Other than being a huge pest for the melee cav, they're not all that great against this comp. If the man-at-arms do get on them, much as they can kite really well, if these melee do get on them, it's a really decisive fight the melees play. But another relic under the control of VortiX now. He's happened to bleed a few units. HuT trying to get his castle age on the way. He's gathering gold through this, but he has had that TC advantage over VortiX in a lot of this game, but VortiX is now 58 vils. HuT's on 67, so VortiX is not really going to fall behind too much economically. In fact, he's probably going to start to get ahead with control of 4 relics and a sacred site. Looking to grab another sacred. And now HuT's the one that needs to try and both tech and eco up to stay in the game here. VortiX with his blacksmith researching improved siege engineering, so he's actually going to be able to start making mangonels and trebuchets out in the field with all his man-at-arms. But HuT pushing out with a huge number of the camel archers now. He's going to be able to snipe the shaman. So there'll be no sacred victory today. This is a great count of camel archers at the moment. Spears coming in as well. Bowman not really all that great against either of these units, but just the fact that there is something ranged here to chip away at the camel archers. This is a bit tough for HuT because his front line is certainly the squishier one with only spears fighting against man-at-arms. VortiX for a bit of a raid here. Well, HuT was attempting to try and actually get on the sacred site, but he's now bleeding units to those man-at-arms. So HuT's brought back his camel archers to try and wrestle back control. The other sacred site, just stem the bleeding, stop the bonus gold gen of the Mongol player, who's now, on the 4 relics. Still holding the 1 sacred site for the time being. And HuT going to castle age now. Holy Sifron. He's left a shaman here, but he's possibly going to lose it to that wolf. So we've got Springled Towers going up on the edge of HuT's base, but he's got spears here to try and clean this up. Mangonels now being whipped up by VortiX's infantry. Now HuT needs to really try and get some value if he can out of these camel archers. Looks like VortiX is going to try and take the sacred site once again. So HuT's going to put this poor shaman out of his misery. And the poor wolf as well. Trebs being assembled. VortiX now creeping forward with more towers. Just bearing in mind they also give all of his units a nice boost to their movement speed with the Yam upgrade. More Trebs under construction now for VortiX, while HuT just cleaning up the man-at-arms. So we get back on the what's left of the hunt over here. And maybe look at fishing on that pond. These Trebs making it really tough for HuT. And where's his blacksmith? HuT's got all of his H2 upgrades except for his melee armor, but VortiX right now has all of his Age 3 upgrades, well, all of his Age 2 upgrades and his Age 3 armor upgrades. And he's getting Age 3 range damage right now. VortiX does have a bit of an upgrade lead heading into this. Castle Age now 4 HuT, so he's going to have access to man-at-arms of his own. He'll be able to upgrade his camel archers right now. And now with mangonels out, VortiX has already got what he needs to deal with man-at-arms and with spearmen in big numbers. Springle being put together now by the Abbasid player. Might be able to help him snipe some of the siege. House of Wisdom and some of the buildings, some of the farms under a bit of threat right now. The mangonels taking aim at the front line of buildings, just adding to the damage. I probably need to look at adding some more lumber camps there if he can. He's also desperate just to try and get a bit of his own siege out. He's got a few springles out. He's added a ram. Actually able to take a good shot with mangonel there. While VortiX is destroying houses, he is going to start accruing a little bit of value. Kind of all the scavenge that they get. Vet camel archers now for HuT, so he's starting to really catch up in terms of upgrades. Vet spearmen. And there's man-at-arms. A few more springles to his arsenal, but we've got some springles here on VortiX's side, and he's really crept forward with the towers. He's added a few more springle towers. Just waiting for the stone to start getting more springled upgrades here, I think. Kind of taking fire from springles, but these days I don't think the springles are all that strong against non-siege units. They do a wonderful job in the siege trade, but it looks like VortiX has actually managed to muster up more springles in the midst of all this. He's really picked off all of HuT's. So HuT finding it really good to take an engagement here, and the mangonel shots going to go to great effect. They are focusing the camel archers for the minute. All these crossbows to really thin out the man-at-arms count, and it's GG. VortiX takes the series 2-0.